to know how I was going to package these things. Let me show you. Oh, Costco had a sale. I was waiting for a sale from Costco. So they have these bins. There's 4 of them. I've already used one. And they come with lids and they lock. This is what I love about it. It locks down. So let me get started on this and I'm going to show you exactly what I am going to do. Organizing is my drug of choice. You're probably asking what this all is. These are the Tattler lids. The wide mouth, the regular mouth. There's like 500 in them in here. And the gaskets. So let's get going. Of course we have to grab the old way that I used to store them and put them all together because, you know, they need to be all together. So I'm going to organize them and then I will come back and I will show you exactly how I have done it and why I did it the way I did it. Time for a book on tape. So this is what I have. You can throw them all in and have them just be bare, but when you get to the larger ones, it's really hard to fit a whole bunch of them in here. And quite frankly, I'm gonna want to be able to count to see how many I have. So now I've got to figure out how to do that. And I think I have mastered it. So I have a whole bunch of old containers and I can fit 20 lids in a container if I modify the container. So let me show you what I have done. I took this back flap that's really tall and I cut it down. I have my thing. I'm taking this back flap and I am taping it to the front. Then I am taping all the seams so that it sits upright. So I have tape here and inside, tape here and inside, and tape here. And some of you are probably going, that's way too much work. I like when I look at something, my brain needs to see that this is an ADHD thing. My brain needs to see that there is a rhyme and reason for things and that things are neat and in their place. So if I do this once and I spend the time, then all I have to do when I've got some out of the dishwasher, I take it, plop them in, and I go. And I know exactly how many I have. So I'm gonna keep working on this and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, I've got the main things organized, the lids, the caps, but what about the seals, the gaskets? How would you organize those? Now, one of you guys made an amazing comment because I have found that they last me about 10 to 11 years and then they just stop sealing. Okay, so I have gaskets that are 2 years old and I have gaskets that are 12 years old. The 12-year-old ones do not seal anymore. I literally threw them away. They're like in the trash right over here. But one of you guys made a comment about if we stored them in a food saver bags and we sucked the air out of them and we kept them in an airtight environment, if that would keep them longer. And I passed that comment on to Tattler and they said yes, that could very well work and would be a good way to store them. So let me show you what I have been doing. I have 2 different ways of doing it and I'm going to tell you why I'm not going to do it this way. So I took the food saver bags and I cut them, sealed them, and then I put 30 of them in. And I've labeled 30 regular 2021. So I have them labeled. I know the year that I bought them in, right? And it's only going to work until I actually start using them in rotation. But as I'm using the rotation, when they stop sealing, then I'll start throwing those away and I'll start bringing in another pack to start using. So that's my theory behind it. That's my theory behind it. Now, I don't like this way. It has sucked out way too much of the air and it's warped. So I'm going to open this up and I'm going to reseal it under the moist setting. The moist setting has just taken out most of the air and I might even try and figure out manually if I can do it manually. But this is the setting that I like. So I'm going to fix this one and this is the machine I'm using. A lot of you guys have asked about this machine. I love it. I bought it on Amazon Prime. I have it linked in my Amazon store. So it holds all the sizes of bags here. It's got a little port with a little marinade thing. I don't use it. It's got the tray here and it's got all the buttons here. And this is what I have been doing these with. So I'm actually going to put these in bags of 50 and then date them as in the date that I bought them. And then I'll get going and show you how I've done everything else. I'm done. Let me tell you what I got here. Eventually, sometimes I'll label them, but not right now. We have about 300 smalls. I went through and grabbed all of my small lids, all of the small lids, and then the wide ones are in here. And there's probably about 200, maybe 175 wide ones there. Okay, that's all that those would fit. Locked on, tight and sweet. And then we have the rest of the wide lids in here in the little containers. And we have a couple of the remainder of the wide ones. Let me bring you around so you can see. Now these are the containers that were on sale at Costco. I'm not sure if they're still on sale, but this is the regular mouths. This is the wide mouths. I modified the containers. These are the bands. I've 50 in each one, and I dated, labeled, and everything, and I put them right down in here. And we're gonna put this lid on. Let me show you the next one, because that's the one I'm excited about. So every time I go out to the garage, one hand gets all the rings that I need. I grab a case of jars, I grab a box of lids, and I come in the house. Usually it takes me two trips. Usually it takes me 2 trips. I have to get the canner too. But wouldn't it be so cool if you just had one box full of an assortment of lids with the rings? Let me introduce you to my grab and go canning box. I have, each one of these has 10 rings in it. So I have 10 rings and 10 rings. I have the regular lids, the wide lids or tops. I have extra metal here. And I have, you know, because I use both, and I have the regular mouth and the wide mouth, and then all of this. And then these are the next up to be used gaskets, right? And the ones that I'm actively using are in Ziploc bags. That way, I can just grab and go. What do you think? I think that's great. I think it's great. So I grab the case of jars and that I'm using, and I grab this. And then I just replenish it as I go, right? I'm thinking it's gonna work. I'm thinking it's gonna work. Now you know what I know. Yes, I know. I am an organizational freak. I'm gonna go put these on the shelves, and then I'm gonna be probably sitting down because I'm exhausted. Yeah. Bye, you guys. I just went out to go put everything on the shelf and make it nice and pretty, and when I moved a container, I found more lids, and I don't have any place to organize them. This is just so not fair. Okay, I admit it's a good problem to have, but it's still a problem. Okay, 1 box just for the gaskets, 1 box for the extras, and my grab and go box. Okay, I found a solution.